Okay, now let's look at the logic part of this problem. So now let's try to implement the add grade report. So what we are going to do is we are going to iterate on the list. So here, what I will do is I'll create an iterator. That's student. So that's the student dot iterator. We get the iterator, and we say while the iterator has the next, we will continue this process. So we are going to get the student s is equal to the iterator. So we get the next student. We try to compare. If the student ID is equals to the student ID that you specified for this grade report, if it is equal, what we are going to do is we are going to add this grade information to this specific student. It would be s dot add grade, and we have a new course grade. Okay, we say new course grade. So for course grade, we would have course ID, student ID, and the grade. Okay, course ID, and then we have the student ID, and we have the grade. Okay. Because we will not have duplicates in the student ID, so essentially, whenever you find it, you can simply do a break, because that probably would make the whole process a little bit more efficient. Okay. Add a little bit of comments so that you understand what's going on. Okay. And essentially add the grade report to the student. Now, we would, more logic would be in this part, would be in this student part. Essentially after this, after you add all the student grade in, you should be able to compute the GPA, and you should be able to compute the student status, and okay, let's try to finish that part. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to say update. And what this update, it takes no parameter. And what we are going to do is we are going to update the student GPA and status information based on the newly received grade information. Okay, so let's first compute the GPA. When you look at this, and you will know, how many courses you have, and we should be able to get, all the grades here. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to say for int I is equal to 0, I is smaller than grades dot size. We continue the next one. And we need to accumulate the grade. So we try to have accumulator. So accumulator is equal to the grades dot get I dot, we are going to get the grade, and we keep on adding to it. Okay. And now essentially the new GPA, we see this dot new GPA is equal to, use the formula, that's the old GPA, that's the GPA times credit hours, okay, plus how many courses this student had taken. We would know that, then we will know how many credit hours, right? So that would be the grades dot size times 3, because each course has 3 credit hours. Okay. And then we are going to times the accumulation. That will be divided by the overall credit hours. That will be the credit hours that we had before, plus how many credit hours that you have for this new semester. 3 times the 3. That will be the new GPA. Very, very straightforward to compute. Now we try to figure out the staters. Okay. And for the staters, we say if the student's GPA is better than 3.0, then definitely the new status would be good. We say if this dot new GPA is greater or equal than 3.0, then definitely the status is good. We say this dot new status is equal to good. Okay, we say good. So what we are going to do is we create such a constant. Okay, create a constant good. And we try to make to be public. If you like to use enumerated type, would be a perfect example to use enumerated type. And similarly, we can create other staters here. We say that would be probation. And we will have dismissal. Okay. And we say if the new GPA is better than 3.0, it is good. And now we see else, which means the student GPA falls below 3.0. Okay. So here what we need to do is we will need to look at whether or not the student GPA is below 3.0 before. We say if this dot GPA before is not, we say is below 3.0 already, and we are going to see and the student had taken some courses, so credit hours is greater than 0. So it means that the student had taken some courses before, but the GPA is below 3.0, which means that the student should be dismissed. We see this dot new status should be dismissed. Otherwise, the student will be on probation. Okay, that will be it. So we are done with the processing of the student information. Okay, so this would for each student. Now let's go back to the student manager, because what we need to do is we will need to also sort. We generate the student report. We will need to sort based on their GPAs. How could we do that? Okay, so we would sort the student based on GPA. We see. So this would be very, very straightforward, as we talked a few times. So sort the students based on GPA. How could we use comparator to do the sorting? So essentially here would be collections dot sort, and we are going to sort the students, and we are going to use a comparator based on the student and we try to import the comparator. Okay, so what we are going to do here is we try to compare two students. So based on the GPA, essentially we say let the diff, we are going to sort in the essentially in the descending order. So what we are going to do is the student 2 O2 dot get the new GPA minus O1 dot get the new GPA. We say if the diff is greater than 0, we are going to return a positive 1. Else, if the diff is equal to 0, we are going to return a 0. Else, we are going to return negative 1. And by doing this, we would have everything sorted. And now, we have the two entities implemented, and we have the student record manager implemented. We have essentially all the logics implemented, and all we have to do is we try to come up with the test cases. We come up with the driver program, and we would be done for this program. And let's take a break, and when we come back, we will implement the main method, and we are going to come up with the test cases, and we are going to finish up the program.